if I lean too far in, if you can't see past me or whatever. Okay.
Good afternoon and welcome to Morgantown High School. The 2018 West Virginia Scholastic Lacrosse Association State Championships. My name is Brian Guthrie. Lacrosse newbie. I will go ahead and tell you that this is my first actual lacrosse game. That's why I have Greg Mallory with me. Greg was head coach of the George Washington Patriots last year, and thank you so much for joining us here this afternoon.
Thank you for inviting me.
So we've got a great matchup here today as the girls are getting introduced down on the field right now. And what am I doing? There we go. I muttered to myself. You'll get used to it. We've got the 17-3 University Hawks, the 4 seed in the tournament, against the 16-3 George Washington Patriots, the number 3 seed. Each team has one state title in their past, University in 14 and George Washington in 15. University beat Morgantown in the semifinals 9-8 to extend their 12-game winning streak. George Washington beat Fairmont Senior in the semis 9-8 in overtime. So these teams took out the top seeds in this tournament. And Greg, you were telling me before that the girls lacrosse in West Virginia has gotten to where any of those 4 teams could really be in this game.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, it's kind of funny. The university split with all 3 of the top 3 seed teams. They lost the first game in each contest, and then came back and upset all 3 of the top 3 seeds. So they've actually come on very strong here in the last part of the season. But that's the same way with GW. George Washington split with Fairmont during the regular season as well.
So we're in kind of an interesting situation here at Morgantown High School where we can't see the scoreboard really well. So going to do the best we can. It's going to be great. Our good friend Mitch Owen is here with us running camera today, and we're happy to have him along for the ride. Mitch, a longtime Network West Virginia veteran. So University has some very good goal scorers, among them number 35, Mallory, and I apologize if I get the names wrong, Napolillo, I think. She's 43 goals on the season. GW also, excellent goal scorer. Number 20 is Gina DeAugustino, 58 goals on the season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's actually, with lacrosse, they keep track of goals and assists and total points. So you'll typically have 1 to 2 really good scorers on each team. I think University, if I recall correctly, has 3 of the top 10, which is really, really good. That just kind of tells you they're pretty equal across the board. It'll be hard to defend.
And if you are new to lacrosse, as I am, and again, I freely admit that, elements of soccer, basketball, ice hockey are kind of mixed in here. You see a lot of set plays on one end of the field. The substitutions kind of on the fly, the movement of the ball back and forth. A lot of different sports that you can kind of see in lacrosse.
Yeah, exactly. So they sub on the fly like hockey does, but they also run zone and man-to-man defenses very similar to basketball. As a matter of fact, you'll see at some point in time you'll probably see what they call a backer D, which is almost like a box and one, which is those of you who are familiar with basketball is typically used.
And something also with lacrosse, again, if you're many of you that are watching this already know, but just putting it out there, attacks, midfields, and defenders. The midfielders are the only ones that can go to both sides of the field.
Correct.
The attackmen have to stay on the offensive end. The defenders have to stay on the defensive end.
Correct. Now you can flip. So if I have a defensive midfielder, let's say somebody's getting tired or gassed, I can actually take one of my low D and flip them on the field, but they technically end up in the midfield position. So that is correct. There's a restraining line, which is on the 30-yard line for girls lacrosse, which on the football field's the 30-yard line. But what they do is you can only have 7 attack players down below the restraining line at any one point in time. So,
okay.
And you only have 7 defenders, not counting the goalie, also below the restraining line. So in order for another girl to come down to attack, another girl has to come back past the restraining line.
Okay, this is the stuff I need to know. So we're all learning together. And I'm trying to see right now. We are streaming live on our Network West Virginia Facebook page. Trying to make sure that it is there. Let's see.
Gabby, who's going out now, is going to be playing next year at West Virginia Wesleyan. She got a partial scholarship there. Beth Reed is not playing next year, but she's going to Washington and Lee on an academic scholarship. So.
And that's great, and that's another thing about, just another sport in West Virginia where these high school athletes can get themselves a ride to college.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, girls lacrosse right now, or women's lacrosse, is the fastest growing sport in the United States, and it's actually, there are so many new schools coming on board every year that the girls, if they really want to play at the next level, there are a lot of opportunities for them.
So as the George Washington squad is coming out on the field, getting introduced, come out on the field. And we're about ready to get underway. Here from Morgantown. Really kind of a unique setting here. The football field at Morgantown, sunken behind the high school.
Yeah, first time you try to find this field, it's a little difficult.
We were on the other side of the school before we made it around to the back. So we'll see the girls meet at midfield for the draw.
You'll see on the draw with girls is completely different than boys. Boys have a scrum, so the ball starts on the ground. The girls actually, the two centers will face off. The ball will be placed between their sticks, and they throw it up more like a jump ball in basketball.
So for University, 23 Sophie Armstrong is headed out for the draw, and George Washington has number 36.
Grace Smith.
Grace Smith, you're going to be quicker on the GW numbers than I am.
A few of them.
So we're about ready to get underway here in the state championship game. George Washington University. Play two 25-minute halves here today. Determine our state champion. I like the patience of the officials as they put the ball in there. Get it just right. And we're underway. The University is going to control the ball here to open up as they set up their offense. In net for George Washington, number 97, Kira Doherty, or Dory.
Doherty, yes.
Doherty, okay.
She's also going to Wesleyan to play next year.
Allows just under 5 goals a game as University's working it around.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of picks set in lacrosse, similar to basketball. The big difference between girls lacrosse and basketball is it can't be a blind pick, so you can't set up behind a girl. They have to be able to see your body whenever you're coming through.
Okay. And unlike the boys' games, they can be like a stick length away, right?
Exactly. Yes.
They can't get in contact with them, body contact.
That's correct. You'll see a call called shooting space, and that's actually to protect the girls as they play because they only have the eye pro. They don't have pads on. Shooting space is called against the defense, and it's actually a penalty that prevents a girl from walking into or running into the path of a girl who might potentially be shooting the ball.
Okay. Just underway here in the first half, 23-36 on a rolling clock. Shot no good. It's going to go out of bounds and stay with University.
Yeah. When the shot is made, whoever's closest to wherever the ball goes out of bounds, that team gets possession of the ball if it's considered a shot. Sometimes it's a little difficult to determine whether it's technically considered a shot or not.
Shoot goes goes over the cage and out of bounds, and Patriots gonna take it?
Yeah, GW was closest to the end line whenever the ball went out of bounds. But
So that's the part I'm gonna have to get used to because I'm used to touched it last.
Yeah. You'll see a lot of crossbody. That was a crossbody check that they just called down there. You can't swing across the body of a girl, again, just to prevent hitting her like in the face.
University, or excuse me, GW now on the attack, pressing it underneath and going to turn it over. Deep in the offensive end, and the Hawks will come back the other way. Nice outlet pass. Looking for help. She'll get it into the offensive end.
You get a lot of fast breaks in girls lacrosse, and that really kind of makes the defense kind of stay back, so you really can't cheat up on the ball or up on the field.
All right, I may have our scoreboard issue a little bit better. All right, now we can at least see the time. Right in front, shot, stopped.
Oh. Okay, so I think they just called 39 for swinging a stick into the crease. Yeah, that's what they called. So
Dari with the stop. Shot came from number 19, Logan White.
Yeah, Grace Smith, in the process, I think, of trying to help defend that, actually swung through the crease. A girl can't swing. The only person who can be in the crease in the circle is the goalie. So if your stick, even in a follow through for a shot, if it goes past the line for the crease, it's considered a penalty.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of these things are safety. Quick shot underneath, and that is going to be 16. Jordan Snyder fired it in for University to give them a 1-0 lead. So we'll go back to midfield for another draw. And I'm going to work on the scoreboard some more. So enjoy the draw.
As they're doing the draw, if you'll notice, the girls line up on the restraining line on both sides. The only people who can move until possession takes place is the center and the two girls on the circle for each team, unless it goes past the restraining line like that just did. I'm assuming that was an empty stick check, but I'm not sure.
Apparently somebody wants us to play defense.
I think he's barking out an offensive play, but I can't
tell
what he's saying. Yeah. Yeah. Well, typically this is kind of like basketball. You're trying to make a mismatch. You're trying to get one girl to be able to cut through, maybe get a pass, and she's able to beat her defender, which is what happened on that first goal.
Yeah, it's. I also noticed that it was. If you can get into like a man-to-man defense, it's and get them to switch out of stuff.
Exactly. Well, and even with the zone, you're trying to, they're rotating very well on offense right now. University is, so the defenders really can't be caught flat-footed, or you're going to end up with an open offensive player coming into the 8-meter arc, which is the closest arc. Offsides on GW.
You're doing great, by the way, Greg.
Oh, thank you. I'm going to try my best to be neutral too, as every once in a while I might get a little overzealous on the white jerseys.
That's fine. That's fine. It happens.
I will have to say I like the officiating crew here today. Jeannie and Miss Kane and Bobby are all three really good referees, and they're very neutral. They do a good job of calling things consistently.
That's about all you can ask for an official.
Oh, absolutely.
We've got Olivia Wills, number 8 for University, working it around, trying to find a split in the defense, and she's going to be.
There's a foul on, I think it's 36. I'm not 100% sure. Oh, what did they call here? Oh, wow, they called a charge.
So that will turn it over.
Yep.
And the Patriots now going to turn it right back over.
Yeah. You know, when you're playing defense for lacrosse, you really gain length or height whenever you're playing with your stick above your head. Figure an average girl's about 5'5", 5'6", so you're adding another 2 feet to 3 feet of quote height, so it's kind of hard to pass over. Okay, she was fouled in the 8-meter arc, so she's actually getting a penalty shot here. If you notice, she's lined up, so they put everybody away.
And puts it through. That's number 16, Jordan Snyder, her second goal of the game. The 17-29 mark makes it 2-0.
You were talking at the beginning of the game of University, the state championship that they won was in 2014, was actually against George Washington.
So you remember it, or?
Yeah, I was
there.
Yeah, I was there. Yeah, yeah. My seats were a little bit closer that game. But
these aren't bad.
No, these are great seats. It was actually funny in that season. George Washington beat University in both of the regular season games, and then University came back and won it in the championship game that year. The following year, George Washington beat University in the semifinals to make the championship game, then beat Morgantown that year for their only state title.
Lined up for the draw. Flip back, and the Patriots will have it. We have not seen much offense from the Patriots yet this afternoon. Fire it ahead, almost turned over. Scooped up by Destiny Jackson. Swings down the right side, and will circle the cage.
Yeah, you'll see Destiny and her sister out there every once in a while together, Dominique. Dominique typically plays low attack. She'll sub in a good bit. Oh,
that's knocked away.
Yeah. So that's what they call a cross-body check. She swung her stick across the body of the offensive player. So they have to go 3 meters behind the offensive player there. Which gives the offense a little bit of an advantage.
They're working it around the.
Yeah, they're on the 12-meter arc there.
That's what the big fan is?
Yeah,
12 meter?
Big fan is 12-meter arc. And what difference in that?
Shot scored. That's number 20, Gina DeAugustino.
Yep. Yeah, so with lacrosse, the biggest strategy, I guess, on offense is not only the motion, moving the girls around consistently, but trying to spread them out to cause the defense to spread out. If you play in too close, you basically allow the defense to collapse in on the arc, which makes it almost impossible to shoot on.
Caitlin Doak out for George Washington for the draw, along with Sophie Armstrong. 2-1 here in the first half, 16:26 remaining on the clock. This state championship game. And GW is going to get this one again. Charging into the offensive end. 30 is Ellie Goldman.
Ellie's only a sophomore this year. She's also a very good soccer player.
Tries to swing around. We've got a flag down.
Yeah. So they'll do a delay there. So what they do is she'll call the penalty there when they throw the flag down. What they do is they kind of let the offensive player continue to go through to see if her momentum gives her a scoring opportunity. In that particular case, she wasn't, so they stopped it. Now she'll have a penalty shot there on the 8-meter arc.
Riley Fairs, the goalie for University, going to try and hold off Goldman here on the penalty shot. And goes wide right. And the Hawks going to get this one?
That one was close. I'm not sure who they're giving this to, but that's what it looks like. Yeah, they gave it to University. It's a tough angle to see from up here.
Wow.
Okay.
3-man trap along the far sideline.
That's a first unassisted tackle there by GW. You're not allowed to tackle in this sport, by the way.
Okay, good to know. It's a good note. Write that down, Mitch. Alexa Mascaro has the ball for the Hawks, and she is going to put in a lot of miles trying to get out of this end of the field, and we've got another whistle.
So when she motions like moving her hand back and forth in front of her face, the referee's calling the sphere call, which there's like a 7-inch invisible line all the way around the player's head that prevent them from getting hit in the head. So that basically is a call saying that one of the players got their stick inside that sphere.
And the Hawks will finally push it into the offensive end.
Yeah. Speed is definitely a key in lacrosse. They say it's the fastest sport on 2 legs, but I'd say it is true. If you have a fast team and girls especially that can play with 2 hands, in other words, they can cradle with both hands or shoot with 2 hands, is very, very difficult to defend. It's typically how you'll tell the difference between a newer player and I guess a veteran per se. You'll see girls that kind of just stay with their stick in their dominant hand. Okay.
The scoreboard moved a little bit on me. George Washington in the offensive end now. And they'll work it behind the cage.
One of GW's seniors there. Haley Burrows with the ball right now.
13 minutes to go here in the opening half. 2-1 University. Snyder with both Hawks goals thus far. Is that 95?
Yeah, 95, Haley Burrows.
Now, is this they're setting a play up, or are they looking for a mismatch, or?
They're actually in the process of setting a play up here. And again, typically the plays are just going to be rotating the girls, and you're trying to look for a mismatch, either a defender that gets out of position, or possibly you set a pick to pick off a girl as another player's going through the arc.
Now, is there a shot clock?
There's not in high school. There is in women's college lacrosse.
Okay.
There's a 60-second clock from the moment the goal is shot on one side for the team to get the ball down the field and take a shot on the other side. With high school girls lacrosse, there's no shot clock.
Okay.
I kind of envision it coming soon. You will see some. I know Morgantown High School, which they have a phenomenal team also. They are very, very good at milking the clock. You'll notice a lot of their scores are very low-scoring games. They take a lot of time off. They almost lull you to sleep.
Nope. Swinging around in front, shot and score.
Beth Reed.
Captain Beth Reed puts it in and evens us up at 2.
The other thing you'll see with the girls' stick and boys' stick is different. So the girls' stick is a lot more shallow. The net is shallower, so it's a lot harder to to cradle with. But if you noticed at the beginning of the game when they were doing their quote stick check, they actually checked that pocket to make sure it's not too deep, because a deep pocket would give a girl an unfair advantage and girls across.
Okay. Okay. So you're doing a great job, because I'm working. Well, I've had an issue over here, so you're doing great. We're just watching the game with you.
Let's see who they called this on. This is a tough. Let's see who they. Okay, they gave it to George Washington. When the ball's down on the ground like that, girls are allowed to kind of set their position. They're not allowed to hip check like in hockey. And telling a group of girls with the ball on the ground not to hip check is kind of like telling them not to buy something at the mall when it's on sale. So it's.
Somebody scored.
Kenzie Bush. Oops. All right. I think that was University that called the timeout. They get 2 timeouts per half. I'm assuming that wasn't a television timeout.
No. We actually lost our stream here for a second. So I'm trying to get it back. But we're going to be great.
Okay.
Because we're still recording for television.
Now, where can a fan watch this if they want to watch it this evening or tomorrow?
Well, it's hopefully going to be on YouTube.
Oh, really? Okay, cool.
Right now, I'm trying to get that fixed, because it's telling me my Facebook is not working for some reason. So what we going to do here is...
Just had a visit from Logan Bain there. Logan's Susie Bain, the Morgantown head coach, and I think, is Logan the head coach for the boys from Morgantown? Do you know, or no idea? Okay. I hope for the players' sake that the rain that they were forecasting earlier today was going to be kind of ugly. So far, it seems like it's skipped away from them.
Coming out of the timeout, we're 3-2 George Washington.
So Grace Smith will be taking the draw for GW. I don't.
University pressing on offense here.
Good defensive play by Jaylee Harris there for GW. Oh.
And GW makes the interception and will come back the other way.
Well, he's doing a good job of keeping her feet in bounds there. It was a pretty good defensive play there on University's part. That three going to score.
I missed another one.
That's okay. I caught that one. Actually, I was going to say, that was actually a really good assist. Ellie drew in 2 players from University which left Beth wide open on a cutting pass.
So George Washington went from down 2 to up 2. Have scored the last 4.
You know, where the girls get up on the circle here during the face-off is kind of crucial. A lot of girls learn how to spin the ball whenever they're doing their face-off. So a girl, a girl who really knows how to spin it can kind of direct the ball to one of her supporting players there. A lot of times it'll just go straight up like that one just did. Yeah, so much for the whole spinning move. So, here we go.
Loose ball scooped up by the Patriots.
Destiny Jackson.
Destiny charging down the near side.
Destiny
pull up for help.
If I recall correctly, Destiny is also an all-state soccer player. And she just passed to her older sister, Dominique. So I think what they just called there was what they call an empty check. If a girl does not have possession of the ball, you can't hit her stick with your stick. It's basically just a penalty. Gives them possession. Oh.
Right in
wide
front,
open shot
and scored.
That's
number 4?
Yeah, I didn't see who scored.
Is it 14? Mackenzie Slavinsky.
Okay. She had an older sister that played at University a couple years ago. It was really good. So that was perfect example of just one of the girls kind of drug back on defense and get back on time, and that girl just went straight down the lane, got a good assist pass there from back behind the crease.
So that puts University back on the board after allowing 4 straight Patriot goals. As we close in on 7.5 left here in the 7.5 minutes left here in the opening half.
Okay, they called a push and looks like a yellow card, possibly maybe an unsportsmanlike conduct there. It looked like maybe a little bit of jawing going on down there.
So is that University's going to play man up?
Yes, they'll play man up. So it looks like Destiny Jackson's in.
Now.
You did. That's great. Yeah, she'll be in the penalty box for 2 minutes there. Similar to hockey, there's a specific spot which is right there by the scorekeeper's tent down there that the player has to sit out her 2 minutes, and she has to remain in there. Oops. Looks like we have another yellow card. Okay. This one's on Grace Smith.
So it'll be 2-man advantage?
It is a two-man advantage. Yes, it is. Now here's with girls lacrosse. Once you get your 4th yellow card, you play man down for the rest of the game, and you will lose a player every yellow card after that. So I've seen really physical games get down to the point where you may have 9 girls left on one side and 7 on the other. So that's something they're going to have to work on at halftime there. Good play by Miss Lowe in there.
So University trying desperately to get the ball with a 2-man advantage.
No idea what that call was. Did not see that one. Let's see who they set back. They set Miss Lohan back, so the penalty would have to be on Miss Lohan. Again, anytime there's a penalty, a non-cardable penalty, and girls across, they set them back 3 meters to give the offensive player an advantage.
Charging into the offensive end. It's 14 for University. That's Slavinsky, who has the last goal. University a little sloppy with the ball here.
Yeah, with the two girls down.
That's the coach yelling, there's got to be 2 people open.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he's dead on that. All right, they just called, it looks like a push on Jaylee Harris. Miss Darter's got her work cut out for her with 2 defenders missing from in front of her.
Yeah,
here.
that's got to make your job harder. Now, will a goal bring 1 back or both back?
I'm sorry, I missed the. There's a nice stop, but.
Oh, and it just rolls in.
No, rolled into the back of the net. Yep. Oops.
When Doherty's out of the crease,
hey, she's
a regular player.
She's a regular player, yes. Every once in a while, you'll see a goalie. Well, actually, if she sets the ball down in the crease and steps out of the crease, another player on her team can walk into the crease, pick the ball up.
Because they're the goalie for that.
Because they're the goalie, yeah. And as soon as that girl comes out of the crease, the goalie can go back in.
Okay. So if University, we're still playing 2 up, correct?
That is correct. It's still 2 up.
So if they score.
And they stay in the penalty. It doesn't clear like hockey.
Okay.
If
4:15 rolling clock, first half, 4-3 George Washington. University playing 2 up and trying to get this game back even on the scoreboard.
Mention, if you notice in the 8-meter arc, the closest arc to the goalie, it's kind of opposite of basketball. You can get a 3-second violation on a defensive player. The defensive player can't stand in the 8-meter arc unless they're physically defending another player from the other team.
Oh, okay.
And I think they just threw the ball away. I think.
Go out of bounds?
I think, it's GW ball. Good defense there. You might get lucky and get out of this without a
that would be amazing.
Yeah, okay. Up.
And unlike other sports, you don't have to pass it in after an out of bounds.
No, you do not. Yeah, you can just run it in. What she was trying to do is roll the ball into the goalie to give the goalie a better clear there, but looked like her stick got hit in the process of a follow-through. Yeah, this is a lot like hockey, where you really want to kill this penalty off. Well, if you're GW, if you're University, obviously you're trying to take advantage of that 2-man advantage and score.
Hawks again working it around. 2 players up.
Yeah, it's a tough thing with the. Okay, now that's just what they call shooting space. So the girl got the ball. When you're playing defense with girls across, you have to be a stick length or closer to the player. If you're not, then they're going to call shooting space, which basically prevents the shooter from taking the shot and hitting a defensive player.
So this is Slavinsky lined up to take her shot. They close in around her, and she's going to shoot wide.
Okay, looks like GW got possession.
Yep. And they're going to get it out of the defensive end.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, that was,
Hang on.
No, that wasn't even questionable. That was a pretty good stick check in toward the body.
Nice deep pass
Nice
down in
yeah.
front. 2-on-2 break. They will hold up.
Yeah.
And every time I say that, they go charging at the goal.
Well, obviously, if they, I guess you got two different mindsets there. One is to kill off the penalty, just keep possession, and then the other one is, I guess, if
to keep attacking.
Yeah, keep attacking. If you got somebody who misses an assignment, that's a good stop on University's
Riley
part there.
Fairs makes the stop. She will loft it ahead to Wills, and she will charge up the far sideline. Penalty in. You count players?
Yeah, it looks like one of the girls' penalty must have ended because there's 10 offensive or defensive players on the field now for GW. I'd say one girl still has her penalty there.
We are closing in on a minute left in the first half. George Washington leads University 4-3 in this state championship game here at Morgantown High School. First of 3 championship games to be played today. Napalillo, 35, trying to find some space.
How much time is
That's
left
the
there?
12-meter arc, right?
Yeah, 12-meter arc, yes.
Yep. 30 seconds to go. They're going to hold for the last shot, or?
Yeah, I think they're just looking for an advantage at this point in time. They're GW's doing a pretty good job of packing it in there on defense. They play a zone, or are playing a zone right now. And there's Coach Showalter just threw his hat down in either disgust or was after some sort of a rare bug that was.
Nice save.
Yep.
And University losing the ball. They will retrieve it and try to reset here as we're inside 10 seconds to go. GW running out of time if they're going to go the length of the field. 4, 3, 2, and I'm not going to get a shot off.
There's that hip checking I told you they're never allowed to do. On both girls' part.
After one half of play, it is George Washington 4 and University 3. We're going to take an extended timeout. I'm going to try and figure out what's going on. It's going to be great. It's the state lacrosse championships here on Network West Virginia. Yep, rain's coming, but we are back for the second half. George Washington leads University 4-3 in this 2018 Girls State Lacrosse Championship. My name is Brian Guthrie. Thanks so much for having us tuned in, alongside former head coach Greg Mallory. And Greg, you're doing a great job not pulling for GW. That's
I'm trying my best. I really, really am.
So, the girls seem to be very excited that Journey was on a second ago.
Yeah, who doesn't love Steve Perry?
That's a good question. That keeps me up at night. Oh, fantastic.
Oh,
Here comes water. Nice. So, Greg, based off what you saw in the first half of both these squads, what adjustments would you have made at halftime? Because we didn't see we saw that two-man up situation there late in the first half. That was the only real penalties.
Yeah, I would have been a little bit more aggressive on the offensive end on that, but I mean it's you know who your players are and what you've got out on the field. I would say right now, University, if I were their coach, I would probably try to pack that defense in a little bit more, and GW needs to get a little bit better ball control in the center. I was getting ready to say that, and then they just lost the draw.
Yeah, University moves into the offensive end.
Yeah.
University led this game 2-0 on goals from Jordan Snyder. Then 4 straight goals from George Washington before Mackenzie Slavinsky tallied the final goal of the first half, setting our score at 4-3. George Washington with the lead, but University was the aggressor for most of the first half.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think GW was, I would say, opportunistic. They scored when they needed to
Ooh.
score.
You get a nickel for using opportunistic.
Oh, thank you. That's came from an old rap song, if I remember correctly.
If you're referring Bust a Move,
It
by
is
Young
Bust a
and-
Move. It is actually Bust a Move.
win.
Scary as it sounds, I was actually listening to that on the way up.
Greg wins all the bonus points that I have for the day. And Mitch made the rain stop. So
Yeah.
Mitch Owen on camera has controlled the weather for us.
I made a comment to one of the girls earlier that they can do anything they set their mind to it, and somebody goes, Eminem? I'm like, yeah, I guess so. I just quoted 2 rappers in a week.
You're hipper than you thought.
Yeah.
And the fact that I used hip means I'm not.
Well, it's kind of hard to quote bluegrass. You know, it's kind of difficult.
Foggy Mountain Breakdown doesn't come up in conversation
Not too much.
often.
Yeah, I think the Gipper talked about it, but after the integral play, so.
Well, this broadcast just picked up. telling you what. George Washington circling the goal.
Yeah, they need to move a little bit more. They're doing. That's one of the things I would also say. They were a little flat on their offensive sets in the first half. They weren't really moving around, and to get a girl free, you really need that to occur. It looks like a penalty in the 8-meter.
Trying to hit a cutting Avery Lohan.
Yeah, it looks like there was a stick in her face there, so she'll get a shot from the 8-meter arc. Avery is only a freshman, and I think she's only played sport for like 2 years, so she's just one of those kids that just naturally picked up on the sport. All right, now
they moved her back to the 12.
No, they moved her to the 12. Okay, so what that basically means is that she can't take a direct shot on goal on this. She has to. It's an indirect, so she has to pass to at least one person.
Oh, okay.
Not sure exactly what the call ended up being. Oh, and that's a shooting space there, so Gina will get a penalty shot on the 8. Gina's quick.
Augustino.
Yeah, Augustino. She's very. She kind of came into her own this year. Last year she was a really good ball handler, but not a really good or not a prolific scorer. So that's just come this year. And Beth Reed just scores her second goal.
Fairs made the first save, but she couldn't make the second one. And Reed tallies her 3rd goal.
Oh, was that her 3rd?
Yeah.
Cool, got a hat trick. I throw my hat, but my arm's not that good. It's and we don't have any octopi up here, so
wow.
For any Detroit fans.
So where'd my scoreboard go?
Uh-oh.
So 5-3 George Washington after the goal from Reed.
And the one thing I'd say with lacrosse, though, it's such a fast-paced sport that you don't two goals can go away real quick. What was the call here? It looked like somebody crossed over the restraining line before possession, so they gave the ball to GW. Oh, another score. Grace Smith from GW. I think that might be her first goal of the game.
I believe it is.
That was a rocket, too, for girls. I mean, Beth is probably one of the tallest girls on the team, her and Ellie Goldman, but a lot of physics going on there. Sorry, I'm going to go back to my high school teaching, but got a lot of torque on that stick there. So,
Who'd you say that was?
Grace Smith. Okay. And that was just, she just outran the girl. I mean, the girl covered her really, really well until she got the ball, and then she just accelerated past her defender.
So my scoreboard camera has died. So I got that going for me.
And Grace Smith gets the draw. A solo, of all things. Up. Cross-body check. Maddie Hall get the ball. This got to be Maddie's. I guess this is her swan song. She played last year in the very first game of the season. Was up here in Morgantown, and she tore her ACL in a non-contact situation.
Oh my!
So this is probably a better visit than the last time she was down here. So. Jay Lee's coming up to. I'd say looks like GW is passing a lot better in this half. Nope. Okay, it was a penalty before the shot there. Gina DiAugustino just scored, but whistle blew before, so they'll wave off the goal.
So you have to take my word for it. There's 19 minutes left in the second half.
Oh,
and that one goes in.
That's Gina.
It's her second of the game.
Does it make it 6-3 or
7-3?
7-3. Wow.
And they waited for the scoreboard camera to die so I could do it manually. So I got that going for me again. And University, that's, yeah, I'd say a timeout right about now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good move on University's part for the coach to call a timeout here, because you definitely want to stop that bleeding.
Yeah, 4-3 went to 6-3 in a hurry.
Yeah. Still plenty of time, though. Very easily, definitely enough time for University to crawl back into this game. Listen to Travis Wallback. It's scary. I can hear him all the way up here. But
let us know what you hear.
Oh well, he's just doing a little inspirational ugly cheerleader thing. Is really all he's doing. Or sometimes bearded cheerleader. Depends on what you. Yeah.
The Hawks really need to get things together now. I mean, you mentioned. It's kind of hard to set on a one-goal lead because it can switch just like that.
Oh, easy, yeah.
A one-goal deficit just went to a four-goal deficit.
Yeah,
just like that.
Four goals is that's an uphill battle. GW right now just needs to be very precise in their passing. Their defense seems to be playing really, really well. Kara Darty's having a great game. I just think it was a couple goals in a row where the University was just a step off on the low D at this point in time. But they've got some athletes, so they'll be back in it. Okay, kind of surprised they let that one go. Oh. Empty stick check there. Looks like that'll go to University. Grace had looked like she won the face-off and then couldn't get control of the ball and just batted at it and threw it in there between 4 or 5 defenders. Kind of hard to keep control of the ball that way.
All right, my screen is locked up. I think so. It says it's running. I can get to other stuff.
Oops. Let's see if that ball goes out of bounds or not. Oh, there's a little bit of a scuffle for the ball there. Again, this is that whole, okay, just call it an empty check on, empty stick check on University. So it's going to be GW ball.
Okay.
Avery Lowen's going to bring it in.
She will go the width of the field.
Yeah, she's a fast player, too. She's another one. They've got a lot of speed on this team. Not saying that the University doesn't. Nice retrieval, way to keep that back into play.
Soccer players are good for lacrosse.
Well,
right?
there's
as far as the conditioning goes.
Yeah, let's see, Ellie Goldman. There's about five soccer players in there currently, and another goal by Ellie Goldman. That vein may have just turned into an artery there.
And goalie for University Fairs played a pretty solid first half.
Yes, she did. She actually played a really good first, and she's had a really good season. I just think she's kind of getting burned there.
4 goals here in the second half. 18 minutes and change to go. I still can't see my screen. Mitch thinks it's hilarious.
He's laughing with you, not at you.
I'm not laughing.
That was a good example of just got out hustled there. University just picked up the ball in the draw there. Yeah, the key to this game right now for universities is going to have to be they're going to have to chip away, but they're going to have to be able to play a lot sounder defense to be able to get back in there. GW just needs to be really cognizant on their passing, not make stupid mistakes. The University just had a girl wide open in the 8, and for some reason they just didn't see her on the pass. Nice defensive play by Darty. Nice save on her part. Comes Elizabeth Pack down the field. There's another speedy she's a sophomore and she's a soccer player.
Doherty's going to play a little looser in goal now, knowing she's got a 5-goal cushion now.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, I would if I were her. So when a shot goes into the goalie's got 10 seconds to get the ball out. So I think I would be milking that 10 seconds down to about 8 or 9 if I.
Is this where GW starts playing the clock control game?
Yeah, I would say a little bit. I mean, you're still going to be aggressive. You don't want to just start playing flat, but yeah, you definitely want to make sure that the shots are there. And I think. What you'll end up seeing possibly is University might start getting a little bit more aggressive. Like that's a shot to the face, or that might be a yellow card there. It is a yellow card on University. So they'll now play man down, or girl down.
Or 8.
Number 8 looks like.
That is Olivia Wills. So she will come off.
Yeah, that's that mobility that Gina D'Agostino has. She's so quick at cutting. I think the girl had her sticking in a good position, and then she just almost kind of cut right into it. And good stop on University's part there. Yeah, let's see here.
Swinging around underneath, and Ferris knocks that one away.
Yeah.
Tries to loft it out.
Yeah, I almost think that was over too many players there, but it's fine. I think it's hard to tell a player in any sport not to try to score. When you get into that at 4-corner delay like you used to, the old Princeton University basketball team, if I remember correctly. Yep.
Around the 4-man weave. And
yeah, exactly. They're
University with a scoring chance here. Yep. Nice stick work.
Nice
Fire.
stop.
Knocked away.
Stop. Yep. Oh. So this is, again, where you get into, I think GW just needs to start, they really need to play sound defense, play their positions right. University really has just got to get they've got to get points out of it. That was a really good one-on-one against the goalie, and then her defense, great stop by the goalie Dartery. There's a goal.
Shot and
University.
scored is number 14, Slavinsky. Her second of the game.
Slavinsky is the type of girl that can take a game over. When she gets hot, she's almost unstoppable.
Well, the 4-goal hole to dig out of, that's what the Hawks need right now.
Are they at the 10-minute mark yet, or?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. All right.
I can't see anything. You ever feel like Bob Uecker in Major League?
14:59. Okay. Yeah, exactly. You're just missing the cowbell there. It's
one hit. We only got one hit.
Right now, the younger fans are sitting there wondering what you're talking about. Those of us who are older are rolling around laughing.
Trust me, it was funny. Just go with it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's a swing down. That should have been a pass. That's, oh, come on. I haven't played this much, but we'll see how things go. That. Looks like Destiny Jackson stepped out of bounds here. Good defense on University's part. You know, when you're playing when you're playing lacrosse, you not only straight foot speed is great, but you also have to have some really good side-to-side motion as well, and good cutting abilities. Looked like number 8 was open briefly there in the 8-meter. Okay, just caught a shooting space on George Washington. Looked like it was against, who's that, Camille Collins. Nice stop by Kira Darter again. She's really playing great goal right now, except for she just turned the ball over
and fired it in.
Gave it back over. That was a mistake on the goal. He's had a great stop and then just didn't have a good clear, and she's patting herself on her chest saying, "My bad."
Napoleon. Boy, was I saying that wrong.
So what does that do? Cut it down to a 4-goal lead?
8-5, I believe.
8-5, 3-goal lead. Okay.
Of course, once I get the scoreboard fixed, somebody scored. Wait, George Washington is winning, right?
Yeah, George Washington is winning.
So I had the scoreboard wrong anyway.
Oh, okay.
So we're in good shape. As Mitch sticks his head out the window to see. 11:24 to go, 8-5, George Washington.
Looks like they're calling a timeout here. Somebody's calling it. Looks like George Washington wants a timeout. They want to talk it over. Again, talking about stopping the bleeding. You give up 2 goals, you want to stop that momentum.
Brian Guthrie here, not saying much. Greg Mallory doing all the work for us here on Network West Virginia. We've had streaming issues, computer issues. What else is new? When you go live, this is pretty much what you get.
Looks like the rain is starting to come out here finally.
My scoreboard camera died. Everything's coming up Millhouse. State championship game. Stay tuned. Probably we're going to have the two boys championship games in Division 2. The Division 2 game will be next with John Marshall and Fairmont Senior.
Oh, cool.
Followed by the Division 1 championship later on, which is again University and George Washington.
Yeah, the key to lacrosse, I know with George Washington University in the same boat. I know I think it's South Middle School up here has a middle school program, so the girls get to learn the sport at the middle school level. Some of the high schools that are in the state right now don't have a feeder program, so the girls are literally learning how to play the sport as a freshman. So
yeah,
you basically, unless you get somebody who's just naturally talented, you lose a year just with the instructions.
That's I've noticed it's kind of in pockets.
Yes.
University in Morgantown.
Yes.
Wheeling Park, Wheeling Central, Lindsley,
Mm-hmm.
Capital George Washington, and then you've got your county teams. Putnam County, Berkeley County, that kind
Right.
of thing. But it's
Well, I know, I think right now at the middle school level for girls, I don't know about boys. Girls, you have a middle school program here in Morgantown, which I think feeds both high schools, University and Morgantown. Fairmont has a middle school program. Buchanan has a middle school program, and then GW actually has a YMCA program, which they count as their middle school program.
Okay.
And I think that may be the only teams, at least on the girls' side, that actually have the ability of having middle school girls learning the sport. I know a lot of the freshmen, Miss Lohan, Miss Driggs, a couple of the other girls that are on varsity as freshmen this year for George Washington anyway, came up through the YMCA program.
We're inside 12 minutes to go here in the ball game. University in a 3-goal hole. George Washington was slow out of the gates to start the game and have turned it on since.
That was an empty stick check on Grace Smith, so it'll be University possession after the face-off.
You can see the wind kicking up down on the field. University charging into the offensive end.
Wide open.
Look for something in a hurry, and there's a score.
That was just a missed assignment. I don't know who that one was, but she was just absolutely wide open. She could have packed a lunch and eaten down there, I think.
Yeah. Napoleon?
Yep, Napoleon. As I mentioned before, I know University's got the talent, and there's way too much time on the clock. The GW can't be complacent here.
Her second straight goal. Yeah, and then at what point now is the GW coaching staff imploring them, don't fall asleep at the wheel? There's still a lot of time
that
left.
should have been 3 minutes ago. Yeah, that's, no, this is tough, and this is one of the things with lacrosse. The face-off is really crucial in lacrosse. You get the face-off, you control the ball, you control the tempo. You lose the face-off, and then you're automatically back on defense. There's
GW turns it over.
Forced turnover.
University has the numbers coming back the other way.
Yeah, it doesn't look like that. It almost looks like they're
slowed it up.
GW is a little slow by a step there.
I mean, I'm totally impressed. Nobody out there has looked gassed for as much running as they've done. I haven't seen anybody really leaned over. And
no, that's. I will have to say today's weather, temperature-wise and humidity-wise, much better than last week with the 90-plus degrees.
The sauna.
Yeah, exactly. That absolutely takes it out of you. And that's, again, one of those with some of these teams that have large numbers like both of these schools have. Hopefully you've got enough backups that if they do get gas, you've got somebody coming in. Some of the smaller schools, they're playing with maybe 13 or 15 girls. Obviously, they don't have as much of a substitution ring
Yeah. You just gotta roll with what you got.
Yeah, exactly.
University trying to find a shooting lane.
And she just almost had it. There, she's going to take the shot, and she's
and
got
goes
it.
right over Doherty. That's 16. Snyder.
So is that what, 4 unanswered for University now?
No, that's Slavensky. I'm sorry. University. Yep, 4 unanswered for University after 4 unanswered from George Washington to start the half. And Slavensky, that is her hat trick.
Is it? Okay.
2 in the second half and 1 in the first. Draw is going to be controlled by University. Back on the attack, now down 1.
They've done the last 3 goals. 2 of the last 3 goals, it was just really good. They just picked up the open players. Slavensky, that last one was just a really good individual effort on her part. She just kind of faked the drive, pulled out, saw a girl slack just a little bit of defense, just drove right around it.
9 minutes and change left here in the ball game. Excuse me, now we're under 9. And University now with all the momentum. 8 goals here in the second half, 4 for each team.
Yeah, they're trying to do a backdoor cut there, it looks like, with University. It looks like they're trying to draw.
Had a cutter
that
right
was
across
there.
the
Yep,
front.
it was there. Just missed it.
Shot
Wow.
bounces in.
Nice shot. Nice shot.
That is Sophie Armstrong, number 23. I believe her first goal.
Now it's a completely different game.
Now, at this point, with 8 minutes and 18 seconds left, no less.
Yep.
So at what point does on one sideline the calm down speech, and on the other one, we're back in it, we're square, 8 minutes to see who wins the state?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, they definitely, University definitely has the momentum. They got the home field advantage, even though it's Morgantown's field, it's University City. I would say with George Washington, they might want to. I think they've made a change a little bit here on the circle, but they really got to take control of this draw situation.
University wins it again.
Yep, that's probably the 4th in a row, and that's really looks like they've got a lot of new players in for GW. Maybe they do have some girls that are getting gassed, but
the Hawks setting up offense again.
yep.
Oh, sloppy turnover.
Yep, just sloppy turnover here. But that's almost another sloppy
Just
turnover
about
on
gave it
GW's
back.
part. Yeah. Well, let's just see what can happen here. This is the interesting part, though. You've got D'Agostino on one side, you got Slavinsky on the other side. You've definitely got girls who can take over a game. Right now, it's just a matter of who wants it more.
20 is D'Agostino for the Patriots as she sets up just outside the 12-meter mark.
Yeah, 12-meter mark. And, I don't think they've been down on the offensive end in a while. Hopefully they'll take it a little easier and just look for a cutter. That's one of the things I will say. The University didn't freak out. They stayed calm and just looked for the right cutter and just chipped away 1 goal at a time.
And GW is kind of in the, or at least needs to be in the, don't panic. They scored 4 straight, but we're still tied.
Exactly.
We're not behind. We don't need to press.
Well, and that's Will's a good coach. He's going to keep the girls calm. See what they've got going on here. Did they call Okay, it looks like a push on University's part there. It was outside the arc, so there won't be a shot on this.
Alexa Mascaro, number 20, defending for the Hawks there.
Kenzie Bush has got the ball for GW.
She has a goal this afternoon. And
she actually
lost it.
I think ended up with a concussion earlier this year. There's a push on the back. I'm not sure how that didn't get. Oops.
Let's see, D'Agostino and.
Yeah, it looked like a push on University's part, but I'm not sure what they're. Oh, they called off. Sending penalties. So it goes by possession arrow. So I guess GW must have had the possession arrow.
Yeah, Mascaro and Agostino got tied up there. The 20 for both squad.
Yeah. Here is a zealous fan over there giving the referees some constructive criticism.
It is high school sports after all.
It is. It's amazing what you can find out about your own mother from people that you don't even know. It's
D'Agostino's shot goes wide. One of the videos I was watching trying to get ready for this was how to explain lacrosse to parents.
Yep. So. Yeah, I had a girl a couple years ago that I had a father who was really overzealous. He came and caught me after practice. He was really polite, and he wanted to know what his daughter should work on to get better. And I said, well, she needs to be able to control the ball with her stick a little bit better. Her cradling needs to improve. Her shooting needs to improve, and she needs to get a lot faster. So literally everything in her game was just a little bit off. Let's see what they called here. It looks like they must have called a.
Looked like a save. Fairs made the save.
Oh, they called a yellow. That's a yellow card on. Who is this? It's
18.
Yeah, that's Eiley Masinople. Looks like she took a. She looks like she either did a dangerous follow through, is I think what they called.
So that's a man-up penalty?
That is a man-up penalty. Now, they've lost the player on the offensive end. Well, it depends on what position Masinople was in there at, but if it was an offensive player, GW can still put their full 7 back on defense.
Okay.
Just no matter what position they had her in at. If she was a midi, then they're going to be down a player.
University charged back the other way. This is Morgan Wasik, number 18. Basically took it coast to coast.
That's one of the things we always try to tell the girls. You obviously can transition down the field a lot faster than you can run the ball down yourself. However, if you get into a period where you're maybe doing a little bit of sloppy passing, sometimes you want to get your better players, better cradlers to take control of the field. Let's see what we got here.
So I call offsides?
Yeah, they have called offsides on. Well, it must be GW judging from University clapping there.
1, 2, 3, 4,
6.
5.
Okay, so that Eiley on her penalty, she must have been a
offensive player.
She must have been a defensive player.
Defensive player.
Yeah, so they're going to be down by one player. And again, that's one of those that I guess depends on. Kind of hard to, when you're subbing in that much, kind of really hard to tell who you have in what position.
We're inside 4 minutes to go here in the ball game.
Oh, and it looks like University just went up by 1.
Fires it in there.
That was a great pass. It looked like she almost missed that and almost just batted at it, but either way, it goes in.
Armstrong, her second straight goal. And is that her only 2 of the afternoon? I believe it might be. University, what a swing. Yeah. Trailed 8-3 early in the second half. Now leads 9-8.
It's like a timeout.
And the Hawks come to the sideline mildly enthusiastic. As 3.5 to go in the ball game.
Well, looks like a little bit of raised voices. The coaches are shaking hands now. That's always a good sign.
Now, is this where this would be where in a basketball game or a football game or a hockey game, things would tend to get a little chippy with massive lead changes like this. And, it's been a physical game, but it's been a clean game.
It has been a clean game so far. I mean, we've had yellow cards, but really nothing, at least nothing that I've seen that really indicates that somebody's kind of losing control here. So if I were George Washington right now, I think they really got to get control of the circle. They've got to win the draw. If I were University right now, their draw play is great. They just need to stay consistent there. They seem like they tightened up on their defense a lot. Looked like they kind of went to sleep there in the early first part of the second half, but they've done a much better job. Tough thing with either team is really that mode of you don't want to go into this and have one girl think that she's got to win the whole thing herself and lose that whole team aspect.
Sure.
It's very easy to defend one girl if she's not going to give up the ball versus if you're passing around looking for an open player.
You don't have to play hero ball. You don't have to be LeBron James out there. Use the plays, use the team.
Exactly.
So here's the draw. University.
Get Hannah Driggs in there for GW. She's a freshman going against the draw. Looks like they're going to try something different here.
9-8, University's first lead since it was 2-0. Actually, 2-1 was the last time they had to lead. Good catch, Mitch.
Okay, looks like Hannah Driggs may have. Oh, let's see what they call here. It looks like it may be out of bounds on GW. It is. Looked like she won the face-off, batted the ball, and just didn't get back in time to get the ball. But that's a good try on her part. Here's Beth Reed in from behind here. Hopefully, they need to do a little bit of double team on GW's part. Nice
Wills
play.
turns it over. Oh, she got it back.
Yep.
So Olivia Wills, number 8 for University, finally gets rid of it. As University up 1, staying on the attack.
Looks like it's offsides against GW again.
The penalty should be over, correct? Or no?
I can't tell. They put that.
Got a 10 up down there.
Yeah, they got that tent down there. You don't have a camera down there, do you?
Buddy, I'm lucky to have the cameras I have right now.
Maybe we could fly a drone down there and check
Sure,
see if the
sure.
penalty.
That's in the budget.
Well, this is the one thing with playing at a football field. You don't have like possession arrow information, and you don't have
don't have the
penalty time.
clock.
Yeah, exactly.
University doing their best to burn this clock off. 2 minutes to go. Hawks lead by 1.
Yeah, GW is going to have to play it a little bit more aggressive.
Whoa! And got a gift from the Hawks
that they
just
wanted.
now.
There's Gabby Holstein with the ball. Here comes Destiny Jackson up the field here. Destiny's one of the faster girls on GW's team.
She's going to take it end to end.
Yeah, that's what she looks like she's wanting to do.
And gets a shot off and scores!
Oh, my gosh. Coast to coast, Destiny
Wow.
Jackson.
Unreal.
It was a great play on Destiny's part.
So, remember that stuff I was saying about you don't have to be LeBron, you don't have to do it yourself?
Yeah, well, that's...
Never mind.
Exactly. All right, let's see what happens here. I tell you what,
92 seconds left.
Yeah, this is a tough game because both teams have played so well. This is one of those you just hate to see anybody lose. But this has been an exciting game.
Yes, it has. This has been. If this is the only, if this has been the only lacrosse game I've ever seen, this is great.
Now they got Grace Smith back out on the center circle there for GW, so they're switching back on face-off here.
.92 seconds remain.
Yeah. one thing we didn't talk about, I don't know if you noticed, the one player for GW is kind of going around the circle. On a face-off, the two girls in the center have to be set, but the girls on the outside can move around, so they can kind of strategize where they think this ball is going to land. Notice Miss Goldman kind of move back like maybe they think, and that's a good play on her part.
Comes right to her. And she will take a stick to the face.
Yep.
23, Sophie Armstrong, guilty of that one.
If I, oops. Okay, Miss Grace Smith needs to get the ball, but an unforced turnover, I think, if I recall correctly.
Yep, I believe she just put it on the deck, and now University
did. Oh, good block.
Almost picked off.
Oh, that was a little bit of.
It's getting exciting now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Here come the Hawks pushing up the other way.
All right. Well, it looks like, well, see what happens here.
1 on 3.
But yeah, she should have a trailer here.
This is Morgan Croco, number 5.
Ball down. Let's see what they call. Now they call a penalty on GW down in the 8 meters, so it looks like it's going to be a penalty shot here. Not sure if I agree with that call, but I'm not a referee.
35, Napolio goes down. 40 seconds left.
She's got, what, 2 goals already or 3?
2.
2 goals, okay. Oh.
She will loft it over, and deflected right into Doherty's net. But she will throw it out of bounds.
I'll tell you, Kira had a great first half. It's been this third, really kind of unforced error on the goalie's part for GW.
Is that one of those trying to clear in a hurry and just?
Yeah, didn't quite get her direction down there, but that's okay. It's
ball went under the bleachers.
Yeah.
You put your hand up. Rolled into the ivy.
That is not a ground rule double, by the way, and lacrosse. It's just possession. So
University's got a few seconds left here to maneuver before we go to overtime.
Yeah, now if they get in, well, wait, let's not step ahead of ourselves here, but I was going to say when you get into overtime with lacrosse, it's sudden death, just like hockey. Nice stop on GW's part.
Now she's out of the crease.
How much time is left? She just
that was the horn.
Smart
she
move.
Just burned the time off.
Yep, looks like we're going to overtime here.
You paid for the whole seat, but you only need the edge. 2018 Girls State Lacrosse Championships.
See Mr. Driggs over here doing calisthenics here. I should. Yeah. If you remember last week, GW went into overtime with Fairmont and pulled off an overtime victory against Fairmont to make it to the state title game.
9-8 win last week against Fairmont.
And if I remember correctly, it was Maddie Hall that made the winning goal in that game. This is the point in the game where stamina really is going to come into play. We'll sit there and talk strategy on if I get the face-off, what am I going to do on the offensive end? And if I lose the face-off, what am I going to do back on defense?
For University, Slavinsky has 3 goals. For George Washington, Reed has 3 goals. Napolio has 2 for University. Armstrong has 2 for University. D'Agostino has 2 for George Washington. The scoring has been spread around pretty well.
And again, that's a sign of a really good coach team on both sides. You get a team that scores 9 or 10 goals with 7 of them by the same girl. That kind of normally shows a lack of passing. But okay, they're now going to do a new coin toss. They'll decide. This one will decide who defends which goal and which team gets. So when they do the coin toss, whoever gets it, they can choose either the goal that they want to defend, or they can select the possession arrow. So let's just see how this falls out.
Does the door keep blowing up? GW taking their time on the sideline. University's already got players out there as we're getting the coin toss down here by the officials' tent.
I figure out. Looks like they're on the radio doing something down there. It's like GW must have won the toss. They're asking where they want to go. Right? They get to pick your end. Right now, with the sun the way it is, it's not really a definitive advantage on either goal. No. If there's any wind kicking up, I would think it'd be on the open end of this field. Still, sometimes a close end of the field can do some wind can do some tricky things there.
Now, does the ball blow around a lot, or is it more
it's
sun
really got to blow hard?
Kind of thing,
yeah, it's more of a sun in the face. I know where George Washington plays their home game, Schallenbaum Field. Boy, you play an evening game down there, but you can burn out a retina pretty easy if you get the wrong side of the field.
You play at the football field?
No, well, they actually played down at Coonskin Park.
Okay.
So it's actually a soccer field.
All right.
So now down here, if I remember correctly, in the evenings, the sun's going to be coming in from the scoreboard side, if I recall correctly. Kind of turned around. I'm not used to sitting up here.
It's more fun up here.
Oh, it is way more fun. Now, I don't know what the over-under was. I think I used to, every once in a while, release an expletive when I was coaching, and I think there was a little bit of bartering going down at the field. I think right now I'm on the under.
I think you're doing a fantastic job. We'll reset for overtime. I'm Brian Guthrie. I've never seen lacrosse before. This is Greg Mallory, head coach at George Washington last year. So you're familiar with the teams and what's going on down there, and before I forget, thanks. You've really helped me kind of get a better appreciation of this game.
I've had a blast. I missed it this year. I didn't coach this year, and I tried to attend several games, but wasn't able to get to as many as I would like. As I mentioned to you before, I've known a lot of these girls on GW's team for 7 years now, 6 or 7 years. Jeannie Dreisbeck, the one referee, it's been years ago. She actually used to be the university coach when I first started coaching 5 or 6 years ago. So,
I'm just, I'm tremendously impressed. Basically, any sport that we cover, I'm impressed by the conditioning. But these young ladies out here today, this is nuts. I would be calling for an ambulance about now.
Yeah, that's and you kind of you talk about, especially when you start talking about athletes who play different sports, basketball players and soccer players. They typically always have a lot of stamina. You get several of them on your team, and that helps you out tremendously. But it boils down to conditioning. And at this point in time, it's just a matter of heart. And that's something you cannot coach. It's just something that you either have or you don't have. So University, you got the draw.
Off the draw to start overtime. University's going to have it. You go right at her, or do you try to set up the perfect play?
I would try to set up a play. I don't think they've, except for one or two by Slavinsky, I think they've been much more successful with the setup. You got a girl right there in the open.
And turned it over, tried to get the cutter in front of the net.
Looks like Lowen's got the ball coming up the field, and she's got some speed.
Gave up a goal to Jackson towards the end of regulation.
Uncalled cross-check there, but that's okay. Oh, dropped the ball, but they called a penalty. What do they call it? Shooting space? What do they call there? She looks, okay, I think the stick was just too close to the sphere. Lowen was going down the field pretty good, and again, sometimes when you don't have the momentum, it's easy to kind of just throw your stick out there to try to defend.
So Avery Lowen.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat with this right now. Well, she's on the 12, so she scored.
Got it.
And that's it. Woo! That was I really didn't think she was going to take that shot. But I think maybe University wasn't expecting her to take that shot either. So I think it was a phenomenal game by both teams. This is kind of a tradition in lacrosse. You always, just like hockey, you go down and
shake hands.
Shake hands. Well, you go down and shake hands, but you go and you hug your goalie. So you try to, when you're playing lacrosse, and it's one of the things we always try to coach, unless you lost 1-0, it's a team win, team loss. So the goalie right now is probably kind of kicking herself, but she played a very, very tough game out there.
10 goals, and Lowen, that's her only goal of the game.
That's the only one she needed.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a game. Congratulations to the George Washington Patriots, 2018 Girls State Lacrosse Champions. 10-9, your final here in Morgantown. Any final thoughts? You get to watch. I know you were being impartial, but I know now you can turn it off. You get to see girls that you coached for a long time get a state title, second one in school history.
So it's neat, really neat. Great group of girls. That senior class is going to do phenomenal in college. My hat's off to them. We always tell them, if you get recruited, that's great, but at the end of the day, there's life after this sport. So if you know them, they're a great group of girls. I'm sure the girls on the university side are in the same boat. And I told one of the parents one time, they're all somebody's little girl.
What a great way to kick off our lacrosse coverage for today. We've got 2 boys games, championship games still to come. Greg Mallory, thank you so much.
Great job. Inviting me. Thank you.
Go down there and hug some girls and whatnot, and take your Network West Virginia. You get a Network West Virginia hat to take with you, too.
Right. Thank you so much.
There's parting gifts.
Parting gifts. Okay, thank you so much.
And you hit that young MC in the car on the way home, because that's how you roll. We take a timeout. We've got boys games coming up next for you here on Network West Virginia.